Hey besties, how's it going? Listen, I just wanted to make this video today to share with you something that I learned from Jack Bogle. He told this little story. It has stuck in my mind.
At a party given by a billionaire on Shelter Island, Kurt Vonnegut informs his pal Joseph Heller that their host, a hedge fund manager, had made more money in a single day than Heller had earned from his wildly popular novel, Catch-22, over its whole history. Heller responds, "Yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough." Enough. I was stunned by the simple eloquence of that word, stunned for two reasons. First, because I've been given so much in my own life, and second, because Joseph Heller couldn't have been more accurate. For a critical element of our society, including many of the wealthiest and most powerful among us, there seems to be no limit today on what enough entails.
And it's just such a profound concept, the idea of having enough. And sometimes people who have, all the money, the millions of dollars, the billions of dollars, there's always this quest to get more. And, I think no matter where you are in life, there is that need, especially if you live in a country like the US, but probably anywhere. We're surrounded by stuff we can buy and stuff that maybe we need, but it's sometimes, I think, hard to tell the difference between what makes us happy and what we need. And a lot of the times the solutions that are presented to us are stuff we should buy. So I'll just give you an example. I've noticed these Apple Watches like everywhere now. I work as a photographer, so a lot of the people I take pictures of have the Apple Watches. I'll go with a walk with my friends, or I'll be playing tennis, and friends got the Apple Watch, and it's keeping track of their heart rate, and it's helping them get text messages and emails and make phone calls. And there's just this desire like, oh, that would be cool, because then I could keep track of, how many steps I take in a day or whatever. From my watch, I wouldn't have to carry my phone. And this is an option. It's one that I think like, oh, I could do that. I have enough money. I guess I could buy one of those watches. But I think these are all the kinds of things that you guys probably have some things, in the back of your mind or in your Amazon wish list or your shopping cart where you're kind of like, I'd like to push the button and buy this. But one other thing, I notice a lot of my friends have pretty nice cars. And like one of my neighbors down the street just bought a Rivian, and two of them have like really cool electric powered SUVs, and everybody's got like nice stuff. I drive a Toyota that is so old you guys would not believe. It's more than 15 years old, but you want to know something? It runs, and it's really reliable. It's super dependable. It gets me everywhere I have to go, and it hasn't stranded me, like no breakdowns. Yet, because I've saved up enough money and I actually could buy another car, like I could buy a new car, there's just that temptation. And so I like that story that I just shared with you guys, where Joseph Heller said, I have something that he'll never have. Enough. And I like that because it kind of reminds you that there are things that you can have in your life that can make you really happy, that have nothing at all to do with money in the bank or money in your brokerage account or the car or the Apple Watch. And in fact, one thing I've learned in my years is that, a lot of the times you think that getting, let's say that car is going to make you happy. If you envision yourself driving it and how luxurious and nice and all that. And then once you get it, the excitement of getting it just like plummets. Like what you thought you were going to be happiness wise is up here. And once you have it, you're no longer that happy. You're just the same person that you were before you bought it. Only now maybe you're really worried about where you park that car when you go shopping for groceries or when you go downtown or wherever, because you're like, oh my gosh, if someone opens their door into my car, what am I going to do? So, and then you've got to maintain it. And like, I think one thing we forget is all the stuff that we have needs to be maintained. and there's a big cost to keeping stuff running, and especially the new stuff. Have you ever noticed, like, whenever you buy new things, they're always like the first to break, and then you have to like maintain them or get insurance for them, and insuring new things is expensive, and fixing techie things is always expensive. So it's just something I want to share with you guys. I remind myself, hey, if the Toyota works, like, maybe just stick with it a little longer, because I'm not paying a car payment. The insurance is really cheap for it, and it's super reliable. And you know, at the end of the day, what's this car do? Whether it's a Toyota or a Honda or a Tesla or a BMW or a Mazda or whatever, well, a car essentially brings you from here to there. And I guess if it's a fancy enough car, then it can also impress your neighbors and your friends and your family that you've made it. But if you're hanging around with people who are impressed with you because of that, then maybe you want to rethink that. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to share with you guys is, you know, what does matter. And I was thinking about back when I went to Brazil. I went down to Brazil and spent a long time down there. I learned to speak Portuguese. I spent a lot of time with this heart surgeon who I met, and you know, we'd go and he'd invite me into his operating room, and I'd watch him do heart surgery, and I would photograph him. And I had an amazing time down in Brazil. I spent several months down there, and I made friends like all over, from Rio de Janeiro to Sao Paulo. I spent time in Curitiba, Recife, and Belo Horizonte, all the cities in Brazil, and Salvador, Bahia also. And when I came back to the States, I remember like I had new eyes on life in the States. And one really good example is I spent like a few weeks looking for an apartment to live in, because when I left to go to Brazil, I gave up my old apartment and I put whatever stuff I had into one of those storage containers, storage pod, and I just left and went to Brazil. When I came back, I needed a place to live. It took me a few weeks to find a place, but it was like starting new, you know? I had to go ask people, like, do you know where there's an apartment? And, you know, read through all the notices and whatever. So when I got the apartment, I remember going into it, and the maintenance guy, the superintendent, was with me showing me around the apartment. And I remember being in the kitchen and just like saying to him, like, you know what? This is amazing, because it was a big kitchen. I said, like, this is all I need, is this much space. Like, it was like I guess it was just a 1-bedroom apartment, but it was so big compared to like what I'd been used to staying in when I traveled through Brazil. And I'd sometimes stay at youth hostels or sometimes at really lousy hotels or whatever, but just having a nice, clean, big kitchen. And I went, wow, like, this is all the space I need. And I guess the point was, like, I was really happy. I remember those months when I came back to the States, just feeling like, wow, life is exciting and good, and I love Brazil, but now it's really good to be home and just spending time with friends, and kind of just that excitement of like coming back home and having a new place to stay, and it was clean and it was safe. And you know, these are not, you know, Apple Watch things. These are not, you know, $40,000, $50,000 SUV things. These are just like basic connections in life with people, with friends, and you know, a good roof over your head. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. And you know, this channel, a lot of the stuff I talk about has to do with, you know, saving money or investing it and kind of planning that stuff out. But I think the most important investments truly in life, if I were to narrow it down, I think there are two things that you just, you know, need to kind of be mindful of, thoughtful about. I think the most important is your health, and the other one, like same level of importance, is your happiness. And you know, these are hard to quantify, but you know, just keep in mind, like you only get one body, and that's got to last you from when you're born until your last day on earth. And you know, you need to take care of that, whatever that means to you. Everybody's got a different body and a different kind of way of living, but just take care of yourself. And you know, if you've got two knees that are pain-free, like, be really grateful for that. If you can, get around and lift stuff and do things and your back doesn't hurt, be thankful for that. Because, you know, I know a lot of people, and myself included, who have had, you know, sports injuries or this or that, and then once you lose that kind of mobility, or once you start feeling, you know, pain and it kind of comes back again and again, it's not that happy time. So take care of your body, whatever that means to you, eating well, exercising, whatever it is. And remember how important it is to be happy, and that the things that make you happy often have nothing to do with money or investing. I would say that having some money set aside can make life a lot easier. So I'm not in any way saying not to do that stuff, but I'm just saying that health and happiness are really the two things that we need to really embrace, and that encompasses everything. That's our friends, our families, something meaningful and creative that you do with your life.
This confusion about enough leads us astray in our larger lives. We chase the false rabbits of success. We too often bow down at the altar of the transitory and finally meaningless, and fail to cherish what is beyond calculation, indeed eternal. That message, I think, is what Joseph Heller captured in that powerful single word, enough. Not only our worship of wealth and the growing corruption of our professional ethics, but ultimately subversion of our character and values.
I'm real glad that you subscribe to the channel and watch these videos. Look forward to hearing from you guys, and if you have any thoughts or anything to add to this, please put it down in the comments section. It's always really interesting to me to read what you guys have to say, and it often generates an interesting dialogue. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.